Hi, good evening, all of you. Welcome to the newspaper analysis session. So, unlike traditional way of method, where generally institutions are taking up newspaper articles and doing the analysis, we are trying to go deeper and trying to cover the manner in which exam-related things are being considered. Okay, see here now. Because of the India and the Turkey issue, civil aviation is in the news. Okay, so because of India and Turkey. So what are the aspects that we need to study here? Why? Because there was a kind of agreement in terms of the MRO, okay, maintenance and repair operations between the Indian civil aviation industry and the Turkey civil aviation industry. Okay, somehow because of the conflict between the India and the Turkey, we have cancelled such kind of agreements present with the Turkey. Now the question will not be asked, who is that company? Okay, or who is that company that has made MOU with the Turkey? Let me show you. Okay, see here. So please do not draw anything. Okay, okay, if you can see here, see Turkish from Celebi. Okay, aviation license was revoked in India. Basically, that was the organization that was involved in this repair and overhaul operations in India. Okay, has significant presence in the Indian aviation sector. Among the major 9 airports, it was taking care of various wide range of activities, not just the maintenance, repair, and overhaul of the aircrafts. Basically, it is operating in the Indian airports. Okay, like covering the services like passenger assistance, flight operations, cargo handling, warehouse management, bridge operations. These are the things. Now, if you can see here, the BCAS, the Bureau of the Civil Aviation Regulator, is in the news because this is the organization which has been involved in canceling out this deal with this Turkey organization. So we need to understand holistically about the civil aviation regulation, right? Okay. So now if you can see here, what are the organizations that are involved in the civil aviation regulation? If you can see here, this is the major organization, Director General of the Civil Aviation. This is the major organization, the regulatory body for the civil aviation that is dealing with the safety issues. Primarily, the aircraft carriers. Are they safe? Are they maintaining any proper standards or not? This is what the Director General of the Civil Aviation take care. Now, Bureau of the Civil Aviation Security, this take care regarding the security related matters. Like see now the Turkey, the Turkey's organization is investing in India and taking care of the warehouse, cargo handling, all these things. Now BCA is say that this organization, we are cancelling the agreement with this organization considering the safety and security of the nation of India. So now they say, how are we creating any kind of problem to the safety and security of the India? Okay, those are the completely different debates. But however, you need to understand that BCAS is the organization that is responsible for the safety and security of the civil aviation. Now, this is another important body that is primarily responsible for the operation of the airports. Majority of the Indian airports are built and operated by the Airport Authority of India. Now, recently, because with various PPP initiatives, public-private partnership initiatives, now Airport Authority of India is collaborating with the private sectors like GMR to operate the airports. Okay. There is also investigation bureau. If any kind of security related things or any kind of aircraft accidents happen, this is the organization which investigates into the matters. Okay, now there is also another regulatory body called Airport Economic Regulatory Authority of the India, which is responsible for the tariff regulation. That means, like you might have seen during the Pahalgam attack, these airlines, they have increased the fares. Suddenly, the fares have went up to 20,000, 25,000 for the return flights from the Kashmir. So then in that case, Ministry of Civil Aviation have restricted the airfares to the 12,000 and 15,000. Can you see the kind of hypocrisy involved here? On one side, they are talking about the national security and all. And on the other side, see, they have used the situation to increase the fares. Now, this is how we need to study from the UPSC exam point of view. Now, they will ask you, are these organizations a statutory body? Recently, very recently, in the 2024, government has done away with very 100 years old age act, Indian Aircraft Act, I think 1914 or something, that was completely terminated and a new act was introduced. That is called the Bharatiya Vayu Videyak. Okay, this is a new act to deal with the civil aviation sector in India. See, India's civil aviation sector is the third largest in the world in terms of the market. Okay, and this civil aviation sector is continuously growing. It is going to create huge amount of the jobs in the future. So you can in the future also expect schemes related questions in the civil aviation. Like primary scheme that is being run is the Udan scheme, civil aviation policy, civil aviation policy 2016. So you need to go through this thing. Also, what are the challenges we have in the aircraft, civil aviation industry? These things you need to go through. Now, as per this act, these three bodies have been made statutory. Director General of the Civil Aviation, Bureau of the Civil Aviation for Security, Aircraft Accidents Investigation Bureau. All these are the statutory bodies. Now here, okay, so they can ask the provision or they can ask simply, are these are the statutory bodies. Okay, these are very important organizations. They are frequently in the news. Okay, now there is some issue of the centralization. Government has introduced various kinds of the standards, rules and regulations for the civil aviation. And the government has given itself a kind of discretionary powers. In case if these rules are being violated, government has more discretionary power to impose the civil or criminal penalties. Now, how can there can be discretionary powers? Okay, this is the major criticism. And also you have these three organizations as a statutory body responsible for the safety, security, and also investigation purpose. But these are operating under the Ministry of the Civil Aviation. Usually, whenever you say a regulatory body, a regulatory body has to be autonomous. But their terms and conditions are decided, the salaries, terms and conditions of the members holding the positions in these organizations, everything is decided by the Ministry of the Civil Aviation. Now, how can these three organizations can be independent and autonomous? If government has done any kind of mischief, these three organizations will not be able to fight back on the government, right? Okay, so central government has a major supervisory powers, regulation of the aircraft activities. And also, when these regulatory bodies give some kind of judgment, okay, let's say it has given some kind of judgment. I have some kind of complaint on the government regarding the Airport Authority of the India. Okay, now where should I go? Where I should go to this any of these three organizations, right? Director General of the Civil Aviation or something I haven't, or because of the some kind of thing I haven't to that organization. Now I'm fighting against the government. Now, even if I'm not satisfied with the whatever this regulatory body has said, the appeal mechanisms are also limited. Okay, so adjudication of the penalties. If you can see here, appoints the adjudicating officers of the rank of the deputy sector or above to impose the penalties. This is fine. Now see here, appeal mechanism establishes a new appeal mechanisms with two levels of the appellate officers for the adjudicating penalties. Okay. Now the problem here is the act empowers government to unilaterally appoint an arbitrator for determining the compensation, which has been criticized as a violating the right to the equality under the Article 14 of the Constitution. So whatever the appeal process is there, that is limited. And also whatever the arbitrator mechanism is there, that is also being appointed by the government. So generally, what is the arbitrator? Arbitration means if this is me and I have any kind of conflict with my business partner, okay, with ex business partner, okay, if we have any kind of issues, we will go towards the arbitrator. So this arbitrator will give the judgment. So this arbitrator will be the neutral arbitrator. But in this case, the government says, I will appoint the arbitration and his judgment will be the final. Okay, this is another point. And any appeals against the decision of the bodies like BGC or BCS are limited to the union government. You have to appeal it to the government. How is this possible? If I have case against the government, how can I go to the government? Is it not the concentration of the power? There is no separation of the power. There has to be checks and balances. Okay, so these are the problems. So what are the problems if I have to ask in the Civil Aviation Act? First thing is the regulatory bodies are not autonomous. Regulatory bodies are not autonomous. Okay, more discretionary powers have been given to the government. more discretionary powers in terms of the imposition of the fines. More discretionary powers to impose fines have been given to the government. Then what is this? The appeal mechanism. If I have any kind of problem, appeal has to be done to the government. So this is another problem. Union government will decide the arbitrator if any kind of conflict. So all these are the problems. Okay. So once and all, finish this thing. Okay. Next time when you come across this Civil Aviation Act, you should not feel confused. Okay. Why? What is this thing is in the news? Okay. What is this body is about DGCA and also Bureau of the Civil Aviation Security? You should not get confused. What are the roles and responsibilities? Do visit these notes and you should get the clarity. We also have this organization. Okay. Airport Economic Regulatory Authority of the India. This was one of the prelims question. Does airports have this kind of tariff regulatory body? Okay, many people thought we do not have such kind of tariff regulatory authority. We have those things. There is also such a kind of like a regulatory body. There is also requirement in the railways. Currently, we do not have such a kind of tariff regulating authority in the railways, and also like a security related regulatory authority in the railways. Okay, if any kind of accidents happen, okay, we do not have such a kind of organization in the railways. There is a recommendation because mostly railway accidents are happening. We have this kind of recommendation, an independent railway tariff authority. Okay, from long been there is a recommendation. Somehow government has not notified it. Okay, somehow government could not still implement this railway tariff authority. Only when there is railway tariff authority, then only private players will participate, right? If you want a kind of private player to participate in any kind of organization, there should be independent regulatory body, right? Only when there is independent regulatory body, if a government and private sector, both the organizations are participating in that area, then only there can be a level playing field. Or else if there is no independent regulatory body, always government will claim the upper hand, right? There cannot be equal standing for the private sector and the government, right? So there should be this thing. Okay. Apart from this, there are two major global conventions, Chicago Convention and also Cape Town Convention. This is basically for the aircraft or flying standards, in what way the civil aviation has to be handled, how these aircrafts are flying and all. This is about the Chicago Convention, and this is about the Cape Town Convention. Okay, this is regarding the leasing of the aircraft engines and all. So we have, okay, if you can see here, India signed the CTC, this thing. Okay, Cape Town Convention, but has not yet ratified it. Okay, and these are not legally binding to India. We have ratified this thing, Chicago Convention. And Chicago Convention was initiated by the International Civil Aviation Organization, which is the specialized agency of the United Nations. Very important question. Okay, and India is also one of the founding members of the ICAO. Okay, so these are the very important things related to the civil aviation regulation. Very important for the prelims. We have covered everything that can be asked from this dimension, not just related to the Turkey. Now let's directly jump into the what are the events that are happening with the Turkey. Okay, so why are we concerned about the Turkey? So Turkey is openly always supporting the Pakistan. Okay, it is saying it is oh hamara bhai. Okay, it is my brother. Okay, basically Erdogan considers himself as a leader of the Muslim country. Okay, so it wants to take responsibility based on the ideology. Pakistan has nuclear power. It is the only Muslim country which has the nuclear, like a nuclear bomb with it. So Turkey wants to make good relationships with the Pakistan. Though Pakistan is in the gutters, it is not doing anything better. Okay, still Erdogan, because based on the two things, one thing based on the ideology and another thing based on the nuclear power, they support the Pakistan. They even support the Pakistan in the issue of the Kashmir. Okay, they support the Pakistan stand in the Kashmir. Okay, so is India sitting silent? No, India is also supporting or Greece and the Cyprus. Okay, and also India is also providing arms to the Armenia. Let me show you the Turkish geography. If you can see here, okay, here there is a country called Armenia. Turkey do not have the good relationships with the Armenia. And if you can see here, Cyprus. Okay, there is also country here, Greece. Okay, if you see here, there is a Greece. Okay, Cyprus, there is a northern part of the Cyprus, which is called as the Republic of the Cyprus. Basically, it is controlled by the Turkey. We want a complete united Cyprus. We support this thing. But somehow Turkey do not want it because the north part of the Cyprus is being controlled by the Turkey. So we are supporting the Cyprus. Greece and the Turkey also have some kind of these maritime issues, and they are both want to control the Cyprus. So we are also supporting the Greece. We are not silent. We can also take care. If Turkey keeps poking us, we can also poke Turkey, right? So understand concepts very well. Okay, you should not get confused. Okay, so see here, Armenia. They will definitely ask again. Azerbaijan. This Azerbaijan country is also supporting the Turkey. Okay, this Azerbaijan has a good relationships with the Turkey, and in between there is a Armenia. We support the Armenia. Okay, so this is the part that you need to understand. If you can see here, Black Sea. Okay, Black Sea, and here you have the Bosphorus Strait. Okay, and this is the Sea of Marmara. Can you see here? So this is a very important question. So there is a Sea of Marmara in the Istanbul, and there is a Bosphorus Strait, and here there is a Dardanelles Strait. B, D. Okay, on the top B, on the D, the south on the south there is a D, and this is finally joins the Aegean Sea, and then finally Mediterranean Sea. If you can see here, there is a Mediterranean Sea. So very important to know. Black Sea, Bosphorus Strait, this one Sea of Marmara, then Dardanelles Strait, then Aegean Sea, then the Mediterranean Sea. Okay, they can definitely ask this thing. So they can ask this kind of fold mountains, Taurus mountains is there, Anatolian Plateau. Where is this? They can ask simply. Okay, then you have to remember it is the Turkey. Okay, another important lake here is the Lake Van. Okay, that is an inland lake. This is the most saline lake. Okay, salinity is very high. These kind of lakes are also considered as what is another name that I have given here? Once again. Okay, they have the high alkalinity. Okay, some name is also given to this thing. I forgot the name. Okay, let me check later on. Okay, these the lakes which have high alkalinity, they are called with a certain kind of name. Okay, I'll check that thing later on. Okay, so Taurus Mountains, Pontic Mountains, Eastern Taurus Mountains. Just you can see here. They have issues with the Cyprus, Armenia, Greece. Now, if you can see here, okay, we have the countries bordering the Black Sea. Remember these things. Remember these countries. Okay, use some kind of abbreviation or something like okay, TB. Okay, there is okay, or you can remember this as a burger. Okay, something. Okay, burger. Okay, something you can remember. Totally 6 countries. Okay, burger spelling is different, but somehow you make something your own thing. Okay, you have to find out something to remember the other words. Okay, then you need to see here there is also Syria. Okay, later on we will see. Okay, there is a grouping called Kurdish nations. All these things are interconnected. There is a group here called Kurdistan. Okay, Kurdish people. They are also tribal people. They want Kurdistan. Okay, the part of the Syria, from the part of the Iraq, some part of the Iran, and some part of the Turkey, like this. Okay, they want Kurdistan here. Okay, if you can see here, USA is supporting the Turkey. Because it wants the support of the Turkey, they want to balance somehow the Saudi Arabian countries and also Turkey. If you can see here, it is also supporting the Pakistan. USA is supporting Pakistan a lot. They have made some kind of crypto agreement also with the Pakistan. Surprising what kind of crypto currency or else whatever kind of crypto technology the Pakistan may develop. I do not understand. Their economy is also their economy is struggling a lot. I do not know what kind of blockchain or crypto technology they want to develop. Okay, somehow if you can see USA, they are always like they don't take one proper right stand, ethical stand and all. Despite knowing the Turkey, okay, they have also made a kind of defense deal where they are supplying the missiles to the Turkey. Okay, let me show you that thing. See here. Okay, USA is selling missiles. Okay, advanced medium range to air missiles. Okay, can you see here? And Turkey is also the NATO member. Okay, so that is also another thing where USA supports. Okay, if you can see here now, they may not ask these kind of things. You need to, for the main point of view, you need to understand why these kind of things are happening. Okay, Turkey has the second large armed force with alliance after the US, operates a F-16 aircraft that can launch. So all these things. So Turkey is having this condition. Now see, now this Turkey, okay, they can take this kind of defense equipments from the USA, and then they can supply it to the Pakistan. Okay, and for this, if they have to supply this thing, this kind of defense deals, they have to amend their act. Okay, one of the important act is CARDS Act. Okay, countering American adversaries through Sanctions Act. Previously, Turkey has purchased S-400 from the Russia, the same S-400 which we use. Okay, if then USA has imposed sanctions. Since Turkey has made a deal with Russia, they have imposed some kind of sanctions. Now they have to change the act in order to supply this thing. Obviously, they will do. Okay, Trump is such a kind of man. Okay, so now see here why India is in February 2019 during aerial combat that followed the Balakot airstrikes. Pakistan F-16 fighter reportedly fired air missiles at the Indian aircraft over Jammu and Kashmir. So they are basically they are taking the missiles from the Turkey is taking from the USA, and Turkey is selling it to the Pakistan. Okay, so that is why we are concerned. You guys do anything, but why are you guys poking with India? Okay, that is our problem. Okay, so all these kind of deals they are making. Now see here, Turkey's President Erdogan has criticized the US over its support to the Kurdish forces in the Syria and over its stance on the Palestine issue. So like this, they too try to do some kind of balancing thing. Like I have mentioned, the Kurdistan is the area here. Okay, like if Kurdistan get the independence, Turkey will lose part of it. Previously, when there was a ISIS, which was a terrorist organization, okay, USA and the Russia together took the support of this Kurdistan to fight this ISIS. Once the ISIS got suppressed, okay, all the Kurdistan got suppressed. Okay, the USA is very kind of like what to say. Okay, they will keep on changing the stands. Okay, so somehow they are like here and there. Okay, like in the Telugu they'll say "Goda the pilli." Okay, yeah, volume is low. Okay, am I audible? Chaitra, am I audible? Can someone say Chaitra? Am I audible? Gaurav, now is it audible? Okay, okay. Hmm. Okay, have you understood the concept? So this is what you need to understand about the concept of the Kurdistan. So now why they are supporting the USA is supporting this thing. Now again, see later on again, Trump will reach the Saudi Arabia again. He will make deals with the Saudi. Somehow USA does not want that kind of unity among these Muslim countries. Okay, USA also do not want India to become stronger in the South Asia. So USA wants to balance India with the Pakistan. Okay, within the Middle East, USA wants to create a kind of disturbance with the Turkey between the Turkey and the Saudi Arabian countries. Okay, so see this thing. Previously, if you can see here now in the Syria, now in the Syria also there is a regime change, right? Previously, there was a Shia government. Okay, in the Iran. Okay, Basra al-Assad. Okay, there was a Assad government. Now currently it is a Sunni government. Okay, now if you can see here in the Iran. Okay, in the Iran also there is a there is a Sunni government. If you can see here, the Iran has a Sunni government. So Iran and Sunni used to be friends. Now currently, sorry, Shia. Previously, Iran also has a Shia rule. Okay, so now the regime has changed. Syria has become the Sunni government. So USA has cut the ties between the Syria and the Iran. Okay, so they are playing a big game. As we go on, as we proceed, we will see more things. Okay, just I have given this kind of brief introduction. Okay, I hope you guys got the clarity. Hmm. Chalo, let's move forward. Okay, so I have given what is this Bosphorus Strait, Dardanelles Strait, Agency, Lake Van, we have discussed. Okay, mountains in the Turkey, Cyprus, Armenia, Greece, these things we have discussed. Okay, Now, you might have seen in the news, okay, we have made some of the MOUs with the Maldives. Okay, we have done our deals with the Maldives. Okay, now why are we concerned with the Maldives? Okay, can you guys see where is this Maldives? Again, always read the see the locations in the mapping. Okay, I want you guys to understand this important locations. Okay, if you can see here in the Lakshadweep, towards the south of the Lakshadweep, South Islands, we have the Minicoy. These are all coral islands. Then you have the Maldives. The 8-degree channel separates the mini Cayos and the Maldives. You can see here. Here you have the 10-degree channel. 10-degree channel separates the Little Andaman and the Nicobar. So you need to see 8-degree channel, 9-degree channel, and the 10-degree channel. Okay, see this Duncan Passage and see here where is this barren island. This barren island is present between the North Andaman and the Middle Andaman. And you can also see the Narcondam Island extinction volcano present in the Northern Andaman. Okay, see this mapping very carefully. Okay, capital is a Malay for this Maldives. Okay, so apart from this, you also see some important islands that are present in the Indian Ocean. Okay, here you have the Socotra Islands. This is a very important area. You need to you might be knowing this Red Sea and all. Okay, various things are going on in the news. And here you have the Seychelles, Comoros Islands. Okay, just go through this thing. Again, you have the Mauritius. All these are the African islands. Okay, and again here you have the Maldives. Cocos Island. Okay, these are on the part of the, these are under the Australia. Customize Islands are also part of the Australia. Okay, you need to have that kind of clarity. Can you see here Andaman and Nicobar Islands? They are very close to this Indonesia. Okay, if you can see here, there are the Indonesia. They are very close to the Indonesia. Have this kind of clarity in your mind. If you can see here, Maldives, to the south of the Maldives, there are Seychelles, Mauritius. And if you can go little more south, okay, if you can see here, then there are more islands of the France related islands. Okay, these things are going, but these are the important islands, Reunion Islands. Recently, the France has given this thing to the Mauritius. Okay, very important. Okay, now they can ask you arrange these islands from the north to south. They can give you this Seychelles, they can give you this Comoros Islands or Mauritius. They may ask you to arrange from the north to south. Okay, known for its volcanic landscape, Mauritius Islands, coral atolls, Seychelles. This archipelago is the Western Indian Ocean. Madagascar on the east coast of the Africa. Okay, if you can see here, this is the east coast of the Africa. Okay, here you also have the Mozambique channel. Okay, and here Christmas Island, you have seen Australian territory. Keeling Island also on the Australian territory. Can you see here Reunion, a French overseas department? Reunion Island is located east of the Madagascar and is known for the volcanic landscape, including the some important volcano. Okay, so here you have the hotspot volcano. Okay, here you also have the Chagos Island. Okay, in this in the same spot. Okay. So we will see that thing later on. It will once again come in the news, then we'll see that thing. Okay, please go through this mapping aspect. So this is how we have to study the mapping. You don't have to go through each and every small aspect, but you should be aware how is our Indian Ocean, how these islands are being arranged. Only then you will be able to answer the questions in the UPSC mapping in a proper manner. Okay. So now understand about the Maldives. So why are we concerned about the Maldives? Because it is very close to our India. Okay, and it is in the Indian Ocean. So various types of the ships passes through this Maldives, right? So in this from this through this Indian Ocean, like all our maritime ships, okay, carrying the huge amount of the like a trade and all goes through this area. So for the maritime security, you need the Maldives, and also this Maldives is also closer to this West Asian countries and all. So sometimes before any kind of radicalization or any kind of issues happen in the Kerala, it starts with the Maldives. So in order to prevent any kind of radicalization, so you can check the Maldives. So Maldives has a strategic position in the Indian Ocean. Strategic position in the Indian Ocean. And also Maldives is also our neighbor country. So for the South Asian security, we need Maldives for the South Asian security, because this is part of our South Asia. We are taking care of the South Asia, and we are also taking care of the Maldives as a neighborhood first policy. Okay, after the Modi's government came into the power, they have focused neighbors will be taken care first. Okay, someday they can ask, Okay, how far this neighborhood neighborhood first policy has been successful. Okay, we are that's why we are focusing on the Maldives. And Maldives is highly dependent on the India also for the trade purpose. They are primarily tourist-oriented economy. Okay, so most of the tourism comes to the Maldives from the India. So whenever we block our tourism to the Maldives, they suffer a lot. And we also offer any kind of disaster support because this is in the Indian Ocean. Many types of the like sometimes tsunami also 2004 tsunami also has happened, so they will get water crisis, floods, they will get cyclones, they will get. We support them, with the civilian items, we support their security forces, we provide them education, health. They are highly dependent on this, yet they will play the China card. China, you see how far it is, they will play the China card, they will make some kind of defense deals with the China, and they will play the China card with India. So because of the same reason, many times relationships with the Maldives have been got disturbed. Okay, if you can see here, okay, this is what I have given here. Okay, so initially they have got freedom from the from the British in the 1960s. In the 2008, they have become democratic country. So why it is important? Because of the location, they are important. So we do the defense cooperation, trains over 70% of the Maldivian defense forces, but we get irritated by the Chinese influence. Okay, so we provide them education, economic dependence, disaster assistance, and security providence. Okay, like this. If you can see here, different prime ministers will come and they will play the China card. Even the last time also, the present president, whoever is there in the Maldives, okay, Muzu, okay, he played the China card. He says India should be out of the Maldives. Okay, but somehow once this India out call was given, so all the kind of trade activities were like especially the tourism have been fallen. Okay, then Maldives president and Indian prime minister sat together and spoke to themselves, and then issues has been resolved. Okay, we were not so sensitive, we want good relationships with the Maldives. Okay, then we have given so much of the aid. Okay, see here, India extended $100 million support for the Maldives, and additional support of the 400 million and 3,000 crore currency swap to boost reserves. See how much we have given to the Maldives. And we have also withdrawn security forces from the Maldives. Okay, we have only kept technology for like technicians in the Maldives. Okay, basically Maldives say, okay, whenever the elections are there, see, Indian people are interfering into our sovereignty. Why the Indian defense forces are present in the Maldives? This is what they try to question every time. Okay, because of this question, we have withdrawn our security forces from the Maldives, and we kept only like technicians in the Maldives. And basically, it is a simple political thing. Okay, in order to get the vote bank in the Maldives, they use this India card. So, but somehow they also know they can't survive without India. So later on, they made this kind of huge deals with India. Now they say from India out to thank you, India. Even now also, recently, very recently, why are we discussing this thing? Even now also, recently, we have signed MOUs with the Maldives. Okay, so we have signed, you need not remember all these things. We have signed deals with the maritime community. Okay, you can see we can, for the socio-economic progress, for the health, education, just randomly, in general, you can understand. It is not necessary to remember each and everything, but these broader things you need to understand. Okay, they have signed the free trade agreement with the China. Currently, we are still in the process of signing free trade with the Maldives. Okay, so this is about the Maldives. So whenever we take up something, we discuss the topic in a holistic manner. We are not just restricted to the MOUs that are in the news. I'm trying to provide the holistic content along with the mapping as well. So we deal things in a holistical manner. Okay, so we will be taking 3 or 4 sessions. In these 3 or 4 sessions, everything related to your mapping will be covered, as well as everything that is related to your news, all those things that are happening in those previous weeks, as well as the like in those previous years also will be covered as we go on. Okay, official secrets acts is also in the news, nothing much to know about. Okay, colonial law. Okay, some of the information is classified. It is not freely allowed to share that information, but somehow that woman, that YouTuber, okay, it is said that this YouTuber has shared the information with the Pakistanis. I do not know why these people involved in such kind of acts, and so she got arrested. Okay, these are the things that you need to study from the newspapers in the last 2 3 days. Okay, that's all. Or and I do not see anything much news happening. So same thing, same political issues are going on between the Congress party and the BJP regarding the Operation Sindoor. Okay, they are just the politicians are saying we will give strong response and all these things. Nothing much. Okay, so the same thing, same news articles have come up with the caste census. Okay, same apology by the BJP minister for his statements against this uh, army officer. Okay, these things are going on, so I do not find anything relevant with the exam. Whatever the things that are relevant with the exam, I have taken up here. Okay, that's all for today. We'll meet again in the upcoming session, in the next session, that is on the Wednesday. Or if it is required, I'll conduct the session tomorrow. I'll update this thing in the group, or most probably the session will be on the Wednesday. Okay, that's all today for today, guys. Thank you. Take care, and please pass it on the information for the others as well. Bye bye, guys.